Hi there. Welcome to the very first Sunday series of Morning Joe with Christina and Brooke. Today's topic is tips and strategies to have a successful week. We recognize that a lot of us are really going strong with day one after a lovely spring break tomorrow. So we wanted to talk about different perspectives and things that you can do to make sure that this week is successful. But before we jump into that, I wanted to say thanks to Brooke for one of the strategies she offered us last time. She recommended just doing a puzzle together. And so my daughter actually brought a puzzle out to our kitchen table and she dumped it out. And typically 7-year-olds are like, play a game with me, do this, do that. And I was like, why not? So we jumped right in, we got a puzzle done. It took us the entire day. And it was just such a great way to spend time together. And that's something I normally wouldn't have done. So thank you for that, Brooke. It was lovely.
Anytime, I'm here all day.
With the good ideas, just keep them coming.
Yeah. I'm trying to tag away on Facebook so we can maximize our audience here.
Awesome. I love it. Keep it moving. So I'll be talking about tips coming from the household perspective. Joe's going to jump in and give some ideas coming from the perspective of you educators out there in the crowd. I know you guys are hungry for goodness, and we've got that for you today. And Brooke will be balancing back and forth with her innovative ideas and strategies. So what I was thinking is from the perspective of the household, just things that I've done here to make sure that we run smoothly this week, because I'll be in meetings, my daughter will be in live meetings. And so we have multiple people in the house kind of juggling what live sessions look like. So the first thing I did was make sure that there's a clean and distraction-free workplace. So
by the way, I'm very distracted right now because I just saw your husband walk through the window. So we gotta tell him what's up.
Well, he knows not to come into the room. So there's a clear boundary there.
Appropriately dressed through the window.
Thank goodness.
I'm distracted.
Or, circle of control, right? Someone once wise reminded me that it's really important to focus on what you can control. So
thank you.
This is going to happen when we're in those sessions. So it's a really good example, right? So what can you do to help focus yourself on what I'm saying as I'm hosting the session and not get distracted by what's happening in the background?
Totally. Or we could just go, the Joe route and put a canopy behind us. And that solves everyone's problem. We could get lost in the deep forest.
And also the virtual backgrounds that are, if people are using Zoom, the virtual background that Zoom offers, it's not perfect, but it also does provide kind of a line of defense for potentially keeping out things that might be happening behind you in some ways.
Totally.
Excellent tip. See, I learned something new every day. I'm going to put that down on my to-do. So for next Sunday series, you're going to see a dramatic backdrop for Christina's on this show. All right. Stay tuned for that. Also, some things to consider are laying down some ground rules, right? Be mindful of the background, as Brooke was mentioning. One good rule of thumb to live by is if you wouldn't do it in your child's classroom, then don't do it during these live sessions. So some examples would be, walking around house in your negligee, or having some adult conversation happen in the background, because these things do pick up on camera, and oftentimes these sessions are being recorded. So how can we work together to prevent that? Well, one thing you can do as a family is sit together tonight and figure out when everyone's meetings are occurring and have one family schedule in a front area of your house so that everyone knows, like, at this time it's a no-go zone. And Brooke actually had a great idea for another activity you all could do tonight.
All right. Well, it started off as a joke. But on Amazon, I was looking for a onesie for my 5.5-year-old nephew who I can't see, so I wanted to still connect with, right? And while I was looking for a funny coronavirus onesie for him, I happened to find these amazing door hangers. So that started triggering our conversation before this video. Like, hey, let's do something creative and fun and maybe make a door hanger out of cardboard. I'm sure you guys have cardboard boxes from all of your Amazon deliveries, or put a sign up somewhere to show that you're busy in your live session. So each member of the family, I'm sure in one way or another, is on live sessions, whether it be school, work, connecting with friends. So each family member can create a different one and put it in whatever area they're on. And that's super cool. So you can do it on a piece of paper, on cardboard, on a whiteboard, whatever you have.
Great idea. What an awesome family activity. I can't wait to make ours tonight.
Ooh, what's yours gonna have?
You'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
So, Joe, what are some ideas for our educators out there?
Yeah, it's funny, in listening to what you were saying, I think a couple of the thoughts I have might actually apply both to students on the household side as well as teachers on their end. For those of us that are very new to this online virtual world, especially being kind of just thrust into it very suddenly, I think one of the things that can be lost is kind of that personal touch between the students and the teachers. And I think the way that that is most easily seen is kind of an easier level, or an easier way of getting to a level of disengagement, because you're just staring at a screen and it's easy to just kind of get lost in other things that are going on. And the husband that is walking in the background, or the 3-year-old that's being really loud with her Legos right now outside the door. So I think something on both sides, both as the student and the teacher side, but maybe the teacher more, because I think we might have a little bit more control over this and have a little bit more impact, is going out of our way, maybe in ways that would be easier to do face to face, but a little bit more difficult virtually, but making sure that we're going out of our way to connect with students on a little bit of a deeper level while we're online. It could be something as simple as asking them a couple of questions about how things are going. How are they dealing with the quarantine or the stay at home? And just trying to dig in a way that allows really a sense of community to get built during this time, which can be difficult because for a lot of students, I would say for a lot of students, that's one of the things that they love most about school, is the sense of community. And even if they don't always include the teacher in that group of their sense of community, in many ways we do become a part of that community. And that's one of the things that can easily get lost here. And, I'm sure you guys have seen so many of these beautiful and amazing videos of like choirs getting together, or even students getting together to hear like celebrities read a book or whatever the case might be. That's filling in the gap for the physical loss of community that we're kind of experiencing at school. So taking the time, I guess, and being mindful to try to keep students engaged in a way that's a little bit different, a little bit trickier, where in a classroom setting, you might be able to walk by and just tap on little Susie or little Johnny's desk and zap them back in. One, that might be harder to pick up virtually, right? It's not as easy because, not everybody stares right at their screen when they're virtual. They'd like to look around and sometimes you're not sure what they're looking at. But I think that provides just another level of emphasis for us to have some kind of a routine or a rhythm where we're dropping in on students on whatever the timing might be and whatever the way might be. Mm-hmm. Of making sure that we're not letting that slip through the cracks, that we're not just using this as, hey, let's log on for 5 minutes. Let me show you the assignment, answer any questions, and then just jump right off.
Yes.
Make sure that we're trying as best as possible to make this a real organic feeling kind of environment where people, students, teachers alike, are still feeling welcomed, loved. They still feel like the teacher has their back. All of the things that we've been doing in a classroom, we're going to do those virtually.
Excellent point, Joe. Oh my goodness. One of the things that you said really resonated with me. When you're walking around in that physical classroom, that physical space, the power of a tap on the desk, right? It can transform their attention immediately. One way to transform that in the virtual environment is by using the power of your children's names. Just call their name. hey, John, what's going on? You doing okay?
Yep.
And immediately it brings them right back.
That's it. That's simple. Yep.
And use those connections that you already have. The advantage that our traditional school teachers have in this environment is that you know your kids.
Right.
You have a working in-person relationship with them. So play to that strength. You know that child that's likely to be on the floor rolling around because they can be, right? So use your strategies to engage them. Call their name. Ask them to show you what's going on with their camera. Build those connections virtually. And as Joe recommended, this isn't a 5-minute check-in to make sure they've complied with assignments. Connection is incredibly important.
Also, I love what both of you said, and Christina, how you tied it in with saying the name first. Another thing, as a previous teacher, what I used to do is give a student a heads up that I'm going to ask them a specific question. So pay attention for when it's going to happen. So it kind of puts them on notice that they're expecting a question answered. So before the video, what you can do is email them or, connect with them on Google Classroom, send them a private message. And as a teacher, maybe you can do that for, one student a day, or, a couple students throughout the classroom type thing. So you can kind of make it fun and still make it reward driven too, because in the classroom, if you have some sort of like behavioral management system where students get rewards, perhaps maybe you can give some extra credit if, someone answers the question of the day or whatever. So it gives them an idea of how to focus. Also from the coach perspective, the standing, the sitting, those movement breaks are really important. A lot of us ADHDers have a difficult time staring at the screen, right? Another thing that can be done is if you have like one of those bands and you put it where your legs are so you can bounce, you can put your feet on the band and just kind of move it around. If you have a stress ball or you live in Florida or somewhere by the sand, you can actually get a bunch of sand, put a balloon or something, rubber around it like gloves, and make your own stress ball. So that keeps you focused. Chew gum, anything like that where it's keeping you focused in the classroom as well. So the student needs to take their part too.
Well said, Brooke.
Thank
So
you.
I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I know it's your last day off before we get into the swing of things. So you all have some great tips and strategies to utilize on this beautiful Sunday. Get those stress balls going if you need them. Create those schedules, those visual reminders. Have fun, enjoy each other. And I look forward to meeting back with you all next Sunday for our Sunday series of Morning Joe with Christina and Brooke. Have an awesome day, everyone.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Joe. And next Sunday, we're looking at 9 a.m. Eastern time, around there.
You got it.
All right. And, if you get lost in the Facebook Lives, you could also join us on our Facebook page, Morning Joe with Christina and Brooke. We just created it so you can get all the updates going forward. And if you need some of the old videos, that's also on our YouTube page, Morning Joe with Christina and Brooke.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.